Hello, hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the stream of the Sunday of the Shadowverse. How you all doing? Good to see you there, Caden, as always. Not much has been going on since last stream, just had a busy life, busy days. Otherwise, fine. Feel a bit tired off, really. Then, yeah, happy, everyone playing the PC port of Persona 5 Royal. Said, I think I mentioned before, I've, kind of just felt a bit sour on Persona 5, so I have no, I liked it, but I just have no real desire to play it again, or own it, even if it is the fancier new version. Because I only played the original. Because I'd liked a lot, but, didn't like it enough to be like, I think this is a hello again, Peach. Welcome. It's the Sunday, it's the Shadowverse. Everything you could ever want. But yeah, I've been fine, as is. Lots of boring life stuff happening, really, mainly. But otherwise, so nothing to really chat about fun to chat about on stream. Just playing video games and watching anime, as you do. But yeah. So. I'm just trying to think of the little conversation topic. I've been no, I'm trying to blank on any kind of conversation topic, so I might as well just no point faffing about, but I should probably still wait a few bits just to give people time to trickle in. Always good, but yes. There really no general announcements since last time to make, since I last streamed. I don't know. Trying to think. So his last stream was on Thursday, it was Dead Souls. Yeah, because I got into like the SMT stuff from Persona 4, like the original version of Persona 4 on the PS2, and yeah, played Persona 4 and P2. I tried to play Persona 3 FES afterwards, but I could never quite get into it because it's the mostly the just the going back from the full manual control you had in Persona 4 to the like automatic team AI based control on in FES was in Persona 3 FES was a bit too much of a pain in the arse. But I did then, of course, play Persona 3 Portable when that came out, and that was very good. That's probably my favorite of the like modern Personas, more because like you can kind of split Persona franchise into Personas 1 and 2, and then Persona 3 onwards, because that's when they started introducing social links and that kind of like day-to-day management stuff, whereas the older ones are a lot more traditional RPG type stuffs. Even then, they're a bit weird, but never gave them a shot, and it's hard. So maybe one day I'll go have a look at the older Persona 1 and 2. Like Persona 2 is like 2 different games, I think, as well. It's a bit weird. But yeah, I've never really had much interest in like the other SMT games. Like I think I tried playing Devil Survivors, but I just couldn't stick with it. I think that's just a usual problem. I don't really get along with like turn-based strategy game, so I don't play stuff like XCOM and the like. It's just, I never got to get on with them that well. I don't know why. It's just not a genre. Nah. Yeah, I remember there being, also I remember it, like, for ages you couldn't even get Persona 3 in, Germany because, of course, Germany's got, like, back then, Germany had, like, had, and probably still has in some cases, I think. I don't know. I remember there being, like, stories of how strict the, German game laws are, which, again, isn't as bad these days. But it's like, Persona 3 was like, oh no, you've got iconography of people shooting themselves in the head. Ban it. Ban it! See, I don't think there was, I think that blocked it from getting released. Yeah. Yeah, so I haven't really checked in on the Germany video game censorship in a long time, so any information I have is from like a decade ago. But yeah, and I guess they just didn't. They decided now we're not going to risk with Persona 4 then, and then never put it out. Is yeah, well that's the kind of mess because Persona 5 was after Atlas had got bought out by Sega. So they were like, so then they're getting like proper, Sega's like, okay, we're gonna do proper localization this time instead of the weird small in-house stuff you're doing, but also, so it's all a bit weird. But yeah, so like Persona 5 was like the big, okay, we're going to send this out to everywhere. This is our big next gen, and it worked because everyone loved Persona 5. And then people were like, and then people loved Persona 5 Royal. Even then, I was, as you might guess from my favorite Persona game being Persona 3 Portable, I got my hopes up when they did the first teaser for Persona 5 Royal that they were going to add a female protagonist, because that's what I liked most about Persona 3 Portable. And yeah, then it just turned out she was just an additional character. She was a very nice additional character, very good design, but otherwise I was like, I'd let myself, like, it was entirely not their fault at all. It was entirely my own problem. Hopefully, maybe the next game, because it's not being headed by the guy. Working on the translation on two separate ends. That is definitely going to cause some problems. I think more studios need to... I realize it's a big ask. Obviously, Sony's owned by Sega. They have all the money, and they have plenty of money for this. So they could easily do a so need more stuff doing the stuff like Final Fantasy XIV does, where they do all the localization they do the localization alongside the original Japanese script as well. But obviously, they've got a very special setup for that, so it's probably not something that everyone can do, even if they are other huge companies. But that's what gets the best results. Yeah, like, as I said, with them being on PC now, I can see people doing it as a mod thing. But, you know, what was like one of the advantages of Persona 3 Portable, one of the things Persona 3 Portable is, of course, they figured out how that would change, like, certain things. Like, obviously, you don't just go, okay, we've replaced your character. But they realize, no, this, like, even if sometimes it does play to stereotypes a bit, it's still, like, making the story slightly different, but still the same, just because there's going to be slightly different dynamics there when you're working in that kind of binary, obviously. It was still a very traditional. Because, like, obviously some characters are going to react to character's gender differently. It's just how the characters were written at the time, like, especially, like, characters like Junpei, and it's like... But there's it's good when there's, like, work done to make the paths, like, different like that when they're trying to make a big... Especially, but as that was the whole theme of Persona 3 Portable, was this kind of, like, this small thing that changes things dramatically. They are dramatically, it still plays out the same. But there's a lot of different stuff that happens. Yeah, it's kind of like in its weird pseudo-canon now, isn't it? Where it's like it's an alternate reality thing that happened and the female protagonist exists but isn't in the same weird state as the male protagonist. I don't know, I didn't play Q2. So I don't know what's going on, what they're going on there, but I don't think they'll ever clear it up. But very interesting to see that they did. Wondering if the rumors of a Persona 3 remake are true. Hello, Evelyn. How you doing? We're chatting about Persona for a bit before we get started because I was just like, that's what the topic that came up. But yeah. I've been hearing rumors that there's... Oh yeah, the arena. Yeah, good to hear, good to hear. Keep forgetting about, well, Arena Ultimax at the very least. I played the first, Persona 4 Arena. Quite liked it. I mained, what's her name? Shadowverse. That's the one. Who may not have been as good as regular Labras, but having a stand... Well, I guess everyone had a stand. Okay, well, as I said, that's what I was going to say, because I think I remember you saying in last stream that you were interested in Fairy Forest, so I was going to do a little, that's what I was going to do for the deck guide today. So that's probably enough chatting about. Probably a good time to head to the game. Yeah, I bought... Yeah, I bought Persona 4 Golden, but I never actually got through it that much. I think I just got, because I think the problem is I'd played the original Persona 4 loads. I'd played it over and over again. And by the time I got to Persona 4 Golden, I was like, I'm just going through the same story I'd already played to death. And just didn't fancy playing it with some minor adjustments. And also a lot of the extra little bits that they added I felt were just kind of like extra busy work that made the days longer, made the game slower. Anyway, I was playing some unlimited D-shift for the Grand Prix. We might do some stuff later. So yeah, for today's like deck guide thingy, my attempt, I was thinking, yeah, going through Fairy Forest Craft. That's another. Just kind of like like I'm not as confident how much I know this deck compared to like stuff like Artifact Portal and others. I'm still like not particularly great at playing it, but I think I can probably. As I said, this will be a joint learning experience. Also, I need to edit the deck slightly because I think I did pick up another. Yes, so. Starting now, we are going to be talking about going through the Fairy Forest Craft deck. This is a new deck that's been played a fair amount in the current meta. It's mostly built around this card, Nobilis, but it's also just a generally aggressive style of deck. It's got a lot of ways to the main goal, like the main goal in Abstract is just to make a wide board whilst chipping away at your opponent until they can't really stop you, just overwhelming them with stuff. So the main card art the deck is built around is Nobilis, Sable Lolly Queen, which is like 4 play point 2/2, obviously a bit low on the stats. You've got Fanfare, put 2 fairies into your hand. Then you give +1/+0 and the following effect to all allied fairies with 1 attack in play and in your hand. Now, in play and in hand is important, because a lot of similar effects are usually just like either in play or just in hand, or this is both. Because this means you can actually, if you've played out a bunch of fairies and got a bunch of fairies already on the board that you've had on from the previous turn, you can obviously play Nobilis, and she'll buff the fairies on the board provided they have 1 attack, so you haven't evolved them or buffed them from another effect. And then they can also hit face or trade higher with opponents. Obviously, anyone who's played Forest Craft for any length of time knows fairies are just 1 play point, 1/1 followers that do a lot of fairy followers interact with. And also, the main part of like the aggression she gives is giving them any fairy she buffs. She gives last words, deal 2 damage to the enemy leader, which starts adding a lot more damage. And like on her own, even if you don't have any fairies on hand or on board, that's basically that's 4 damage. And that's 2 damage with every additional fairy. And then she's got a pretty strong evolve effect as well, where she gives -1/-1 to all enemy followers, which is good for just dealing with the board an opponent have, good against forest decks, because they'll also have a lot of 1 attack, 1 defense followers on the board already. And recovers 2 play points, which defund some of that expensive cost she has, because obviously she's a 4 play point 2/2. So on base, that's not particularly good, but with Evolve, it's on par, whilst also having that board clear effect. And then a lot of the rest of the deck is cards to generate fairies, like Blast Fairy, like your primary one is the stuff like Aqua Fairy, which puts a fairy into your hand with Fanfare and Last Words. And then you've got the Flying Mistletoe Squirrel, a new card that's just Fanfare, put 2 fairies into your hand with an enhance that can kill your opponent in a pinch, but you usually won't, not worth saving the card in hand for, unless you're like overflowing with cards in hand and the fairies will be more of a problem. Generally you want to play this when you can, so that you get those fairies, and then you can boost them with Nobilis. And then you've got Blast Fairy, which is a nice little card. It's a one play point 0/1, so it has no attack, but it does put a fairy into your hand and deals X damage to your follower, which is after when you put the fairy into your hand. So it'll always deal, unless your hand is full, it'll always deal full and has no fairies in it. It'll always deal like 1 damage, but then it'll do damage equal to the number of fairies in your hand. So that can be a very especially if you've started stocking up fairies from other sources, that can be a very useful way to like clear an annoying enemy followers just very cheaply and efficiently. And still often worth playing if you don't have like an Aqua Fairy in hand on turn 1 and you have like a Phantom Bloom Predator, or this is Woodland Pest Control, but I have the Uma Musume collab version, which is Silent Suzuka. Yeah, Woodland Pest Control to bounce it back to your hand. And I said we'll go through that card in a bit more detail later. And like most of the other cards are kind of just general, more ways to add damage and finishes, like Shining Valkyrie. It's probably not. So there's a lot of flexibility in a lot of these cards. PSI is usually run mainly because she just synergizes well with chipping your opponent down and also getting more evos out of your board. Odd Shining Valkyrie is an option to give you some extra reach, because she's a 5/2/5. Go through PSI first. So PSI is a 4 play point 3/3 with whenever an allied follower evolves, deal 2 damage to all enemy followers and 1 damage to the enemy leader. So she can add some power onto any evolves you have. You mainly play her with this enhanced slot active, so you mainly play her on 6. She recovers an evo point and also 4 play points. So she's effectively only... So if you play her for 6, she's effectively only 2 play points, and you get an evo point back. So that's very important with Rain. So I have the special alt-up version Rain that I got lucky for, but it's the normal one. Who's a 2 play point 2/2, who, like, the main reason you have her is you evolve her and she evolves another allied Forest Trough follower. So you basically get 2 evolves for 1 there. So that works nicely with PSI, because then you get her effect triggering twice. And she's also got Invocation, so you don't really need to run 3 of her. You can only run 2 of her. 1 maybe, but you probably want at least 2. Just because it's nice to have more than 1 of her. It's like whenever you play the 4th card of your turn, you invoke her, where she enters the battlefield, enters play from your deck, returns to your hand and change cost to 1, which is another slightly important thing, because the other main, like, finisher of the deck... Oh, sorry, I was going on a tangent with Shining Valkyrie. No, I haven't got to Shining Valkyrie yet. Is Tam Lin, who's 3 play point 2/2 with Fanfare, destroy an enemy follower, which is pretty good, pretty strong. That's a pretty solid 3 play point 3/2, but then he's got these additional effects, whereas if at least 10 allied Forestcraft followers have left play this match, you gain +2/+2 in Storm. Then if 20 have left play this match, you get some +4/+4 instead of +2/+2. So if you get... So that's something that Rain helps with, because she enters the battle, because when you invoke her, she enters play and then leaves play, so that picks that up, along with all the fairies you're playing and anything you're bouncing. So you can get him to 10 pretty easily and then get to 20 not too late after that. 20 is a bit harder, but 10 is what you'll most likely hit. So it'll most likely be a 4/4 Storm that importantly destroys an enemy follower when you play him. So you can quite happily destroy an annoying ward follower. And then so may as well go through the Shining Valkyrie now, which is another Storm follower finisher kind of thing, whose main gimmick is that she has strike, gain +1/+0 for every 2 allied fairies in play or in your hand. So obviously if you're putting a lot of fairies into your hand, or even in play, because she counts those as well, she can hit for quite a lot of damage. You'll probably hit for like so getting her to like +2 is pretty easy, because it's pretty easy to have 4 fairies in hand, because she gives you 2, so you only need 2 to begin with. Of any more than that, you're going to be might be having some like hand size troubles, so always be worth it. The fairies she particularly puts into your hand are quite handy, because they get a fanfare that deals 3 damage to a random enemy follower. Again, another way to... One of the main strengths of the deck is it's very hard to build a board against, because they have a lot of ways of clearing the board through Tam Lin, PSI, Nobilis' Evo, and Shining Valkyrie's Fairies. So they can quite happily they don't have to trade anything, they can just kill your board and then go straight for your face. And also, she's another follower that gives you 2 Evos for 1, so if it's turn 7, you can play PSI, then play Shining Valkyrie and evolve her, and that's 2 evos as well, to add on to her damage. And also, evoing her is good because it gets you more attack, and she's a big finisher. And obviously that means she makes 3 total fairies, though you might have to trade, if you trade like the evolved one, then obviously that doesn't count when she actually attacks to get rid of a block of that, obviously doesn't count when she goes face. So a fairly simple evolve, usually just evolve smack face with Shining Valkyrie. So Cosmos Fang is a kind of like more of a backup plan more than anything in this deck. Might as well go with him. So she's a 6 play point 5/6 with ambush for a turn, just a turn. She doesn't stick around. He doesn't stick around. And at the end of the turn, she returns all other allied followers to hands and restores that many. Restores X defense to your leader, where X equals the number of cards returned to a player's hand during your turn. So it can be. So it counts both your cards and your opponent's cards. And of course, on Evolve, she returns all other followers to their player's hand. So that's yours and your opponent's. That's kind of like one of the main reasons she's put in the deck. Is mostly as a control tool / backup plan, because if you can bounce, if opponent's made a scary board, there's not really that many scary boards that like can avoid being bounced back to the player's hands. I think maybe, unless it's like a board made of amulets, like Haven, like Sanctuary Haven, well, Crystallized Haven. Crystallized Haven does. Like, they can prep a turn, and Cosmos Fang won't really do much against that because she doesn't bounce amulets. But she can't stop them from doing a big OTK Skullfane turn. She's also got Strike, gain plus X plus naught until the end of turn, where X again is the same number of cards returned to play. So that's more something that you play. So that's what's the scare. Yeah, that's the kind of like extra threat / win condition that she provides, because she's an ambush follower, and you've probably evolved her to bounce your opponent's board. She's an 8 health ambush follower, which can be pretty hard to deal with. There's not like, they need to have something that randomly targets, which Portal has a lot of, but you do have an option to stop that a bit later that I'll get to in a minute. But yeah, so you can use her to just bounce an enemy's board and heal, just to kind of like stall for a turn, so you can accumulate more damage in hand from Tamlims or Phantom Blue Predators. We'll get to that in a second. Shining Valkyries, all that good stuff. And then if she happens to survive a turn, you can probably kill your opponent with her, because at the very least she's a 7/8 body alongside any other damage you can pull off. But if you've got any kind of bounce in hand from something like Woodland Pest Control or a Phantom Bloom Predator, then that's obviously going to add some more damage, add a lot more damage. Let's go over Woodland Pest Control, or in this case Silent Suzuka, if you've done the Uma Musume collab, which was quite a while ago now, god. This is a card that's mainly just played for its Accelerate effect. It's Accelerate 1, return an allied follower or amulet to your hand, put a random Forestcraft follower from your deck into your hand. So you use that to bounce something that you want to get more value out from playing again. So that could be a Nobilis to get more fairies and get more pings off. It could be Pierce Eye to get her back and play her the next turn. Could be almost anything in your deck, really. Phantom Blue Predator for more damage, Aqua Fairy for more fairies, Helper Kitten for some card draw and board control. Pretty much everything apart from, say, Cosmos Fang is a good target to get, and maybe Shining Valkyrie is a good target to hit with this. You don't want to be. It's like it is a bit of a weird planning moment because this is one of your cheaper bounce options. So you want to make sure and this deck doesn't run a whole lot of bounce options. It runs Phantom Bloom and Silent Suzuka, and Cosmos Fang, I guess. That's pretty much it. So whilst you do kind of want to use it to tutor more, because you always want more Forest Guard followers in your hand, you do want to make sure, like, if you have a card like PSI or Tamlin, so obviously you can attack, even if you just have the one Tamlin, you can attack, you can play it, blow something up, attack, then bounce it with Silent Suzuka, not Silent Suzuka, Woodland Pest Control, sorry, and then play him again to attack again, and that's like 7 play points, but can still be a lot of damage, especially if you've got a Cosmos Fang in play, which does lead from a 6 to a 7 turn play. But yeah, so you'll mostly just be accelerating it. The body is okay. It's a 3/3 storm that AoEs the board, so useful in a pinch, but usually you'll just be playing it as the accelerate. So going on to Phantom Bloom Predator, it's a fairly sinful card. This is the Battle Pass Alt Art version. The regular version is like a more gnarly, werewolfy type dude. But yeah, it's basically if you have it bounces specifically one. Yeah, it bounces specifically one play point followers, so it can't. This is important that it's original cost. So if you have a. So 1 point note, if you have a Rain and her cost has been reduced to 1 from her invocation, when you play her and she's in play, she goes back to being a 2 cost. So Phantom Bloom cannot bounce her. Because that cost reduction doesn't persist outside of that initial time you play her. And then yeah, she returns 1 to her hand and she gains +1/+0 and it gains +1/+0 and Storm. So fairly simple, you bounce anything like any of your 1 play point options, which can be any of these, or a fairy, and you get a 3/2 Storm, which can obviously add up to a lot of damage, especially if you get to play her fairly early on. And then yeah, going through most of your 1 play point options is your Aqua Fairy to make fairies, Blast Fairy to make fairies and deal damage. Felper Kitten is a 1/1 rush, which if you've played at least 2 other cards this turn, she draws a card and she gains a damage shield, which means she can bump something and then you can bounce her again. And then there's Miracle Harvest, which summons a fairy that if at least 5 allied followers have left play this match, gets evolved. So that's a pretty easy condition to fill. That again can rack up some damage, more procs of PSI. For just 1 play point, which is nice. And then if you've got to that 10 count, then you also restore 2 HP and draw a card. It's like if you've got, usually you'll want to wait until you at least get the free Evo on it. But if you've got, say, Phantom Bloom Predator on play and this is your only 1-drop, that's perfectly fine to play it and then bounce it, because not only do you then have your Phantom Bloom Predator active, but you then have a fairy in hand which you can then buff with Nobilis, rather than just having an evolved fairy, which might be better for trading, but but won't contribute any damage to your opponent's face. Obviously, if you can play that and evolve that, then play Nobilis, then if you play that, and remember that Nobilis only buffs things with 1 attack, so the evolved fairy that you get from this doesn't actually get her buff to get the last words. What? So the other 1-drop. Okay, well, hi, Daku. Glad you could join in, Daku. And so we're just kind of whizzing through explaining this deck. So this is Autumn Leaf Man is kind of played for two reasons. One, he's at 1 play.12, Goblin stats, fairly good playable if you want to play an early aggressive deck. His fanfare can be quite vital because there's quite a lot of effect damage in the meta right now, especially from Portalcraft. Like, Portalcraft relies a lot on... It is pretty good. He's just a little leafy friend. I mean, the yeah, well, you can't really see in the deck view screen. It's a bit awkward, but yeah. So if you trigger his fanfare from having two other cards play this turn, he has a very powerful. He gives everything immunity to effect damage. He gives you all your allied followers immunity to effect damage. It doesn't give your face immunity. It's only followers. And this is incredibly important to deal with Portalcraft more than anything, but can also help against Runecraft and generally a lot of other decks. But Portalcraft is like the big one that you think of, because Portalcraft wants to clear boards using yeah, Portalcraft wants to clear boards using Full Blast Gunner's effect or Realmia's effect, and if you're immune to those effects, they're going to actually have a lot harder time to clear with your board. They might be able to, but it'll probably also be the hurdle that stops them from being able to hit your face, because they need to clear your board to hit. Because Artifact Portalcraft needs to clear your board to hit your face with cannon artifacts and artifact impulse. That's the main ways they're going to kill someone, is with those effects. And if you have Autumn Leaf Man effect and they can't efficiently clear your board, they might not even be able to hit your face with those effects. So that's why this is a very powerful card in that matchup. So you might even have 3 of them. So this deck, and I think the last card to go over with is Forest Merchant, which is a 2-play.12 with fanfare, draw a card, which is already pretty nice. And then if you've got 2 other cards played this turn, you give +1/+0 to all allied followers. So this is kind of like another way to put on a lot more aggression. Because it can be very easy, especially if you've got, say, a couple of fairies already in play, or a Phantom Bloom Predator or something. You can, like, quite easily proc this effect on turn 4. And if your opponent hasn't been clearing your early board, that can be quite a lot more damage. Note it does hit herself. It's not other, it's all. So you just become a 2/2. So she can quickly so Forest Merchant is another powerful card that can quickly snowball an early board if your opponent hasn't been able to clear it. It's especially good against more passive early decks like Crystallized Havencraft or Spell Boost Runecraft. And maybe Artifact Portalcraft if you're lucky. The Artifact Portal can have some trouble dealing with boards early on if they don't draw specific cards. They need to make sure they have like stuff like Realmia. Like, they've got a fair few options, but they've also got a decent chance of not having those options. So if they don't, you can quite easily punish those kinds of bad draws with this kind of like overwhelming early force of Forest Merchant and Phantom Bloom Predator just doing extra storm damage. So yeah, that's just a general look at the cards. There is a few other options. I've been seeing people put in, like, Metatron is always an option in almost any kind of mid-rangey or late-game deck. Generally anything that is even like pure aggro decks, because she pings base. So Metatron is just generally a useful option. because that 1 damage and that heal for 1 can be pretty handy. A 1/4 ward is actually obviously quite hard to deal with, so that's a follower that can stick around and possibly get buffed by Forest Merchant, which can be pretty useful. And ramping is just having access to the ramp is just generally pretty good. So Metatron's a pretty solid option for the deck. As I don't really know how to like swap out what cards to swap out. Like you could probably like PSI isn't most that important at 3, so that's a card you can take out. Shining Valkyrie is a bit clunky. I'm actually going to take one out now because I need to remember to do that later, because you only really need one. You only really want to play this card when it's killing your opponent, or if you're, or it's one of those cards that you only play if it's killing your opponent or saving your life. That's the only 2 situations you really play it. Or you just think like killing your opponent, saving your life, or you think your opponent can't stop it, can't like deal with it because it's a 4/7 storm that just blew up their board. So other useful cards. Not there, not there. Adherent can be quite useful, but not really. I think that's more for a yeah, Adherent's more for a more control-y type deck. You're not really going to use it, but it's still an ambush follower that again can stick around, get buffed by Forest Merchant, and you can, even if you're not like playing around it drawing lots of cards, you can still evolve. It still synergizes with Nobilis as well. Is Nobilis's Evo as well. Obviously it needs to be in play beforehand, so Adherent Divine Annihilation is a card you can put in the deck, but I wouldn't recommend it, but I might be wrong. Again, I'm not like the most knowledgeable of this deck. Slade can be kind of useful, but I don't think I see anyone running Slade, so I don't think it's a good choice, even if it does kind of look like a good idea for getting more cards played per turn, because obviously you can like you could do a turn 3 play of like Slade, a 1-drop, and then Forest Merchant that's been discounted. Yeah, so I can see Slade being useful in deck. I might have to look at because I know there was a recent JCG today, but I haven't really looked at the Fairy Forest decks that are running there. Uranus always a good tech choice in this meta. Not like, yeah, the deck doesn't draw a lot of cards, so getting to 20 cards or less isn't going to be usable. But if you find yourself really needing the banish against Portal or Shadow, then he's pretty good to have like one of. But I wouldn't recommend, but not like a core part of the deck. Angel's Blessing is always a good card if you just find yourself needing more card draw, especially if you're having a lot of trouble going second. Breezy Elf could be quite interesting because you get that fairy that has the evolve on it. Again, works well with PSI, but this deck isn't really an Evo deck. You put Breezy Elf into your deck, it's more because you're making a deck built around evolve effects. Where in this, the only real like evolve synergy is with PSI. And it says others. None of those cards. Those. Almost. I have seen some decks running Brilliant Fairy, but I think Shining Valkyrie's been run beforehand. Like it's 4.3/4, give +1/+1 to another, I thought it was. If 2 other cards are played this turn, give +1/+1 in Storm to all allied fairies. So you can, like, especially if you've got some buff fairies from Nobilis in hand, that can make some pretty strong, or a pretty strong play of just like play 2 buffed fairies and Brilliant Fairy, and then you have or like 2 or 3 fairies, and then Brilliant Fairy, and then you hit them with a decently strong board that also has the Last Words effect as well. So Brilliant Fairy is another option, again probably replacing Shining Valkyrie. Trickers later as there isn't played. Played. I said Shining Valkyrie is mostly just a one-off. I think so yeah, that's thing I was editing is I pulled another Cosmos Fang. But you can add in there. Carbuncle isn't really played in this deck. Heck, like you can, but I probably wouldn't. Maybe if you just want to get some more Evo points, you find it struggling. Maybe if you're like low on, you have less PSIs but more Carbuncle, you could probably do that. Got King of Vines was still in rotation. It's interesting that it's not played in the deck, but I can see why. And Wooltusk Mammoth is basically just for an evil. There's a lot of decks in this meta you can like take in a singular ultimate Bahamut in case you think, but it's not really that great an option because this deck again is very aggressive. If you get to the point where Baha would help you, then you've probably gotten too late and already lost. Probably unlikely, so it's not really worth putting that. So yeah, that's a fairly speedy deck summary, but then it's either I'm getting faster at this, or it's a fairly simple deck to explain. It's not got any kind of like... Yeah, just under 40 minutes. Oh. Hopefully that wasn't too fast. But thank you. It's getting better at this, and again, unlike stuff like previous decks I've explained, there's not that many... The kind of interactions of this deck is pretty straightforward. It's like, oh, you want berries, you want the berries, you want the storm, you want stuff that hits your opponent in the face. Let's save the deck. Yeah, it is a very also hi Lumi, sorry. It is a yeah, it is an aggro deck, so we can have a proper look at it here. And have a proper look at the cards. It is very much an aggro type deck, where you're just trying to kill people really, really fast. And hopefully... So generally, if you want to finish the game by like turn 7, that's the kind of like the turning point, really. You might be able to... If your opponent's hanging on by turn 8, you might be able to do it, but if they're like sitting on, if it's like turn 6 or 7 and they're sitting at like full health, yeah, budget options. So yeah, let's look at budget options. Good idea. So the main cuts to the main thing you of course got keeping in this deck is Nobilis. Nobilis is kind of like the cornerstone of the deck. Oh, thank you, Caden. So that's the kind of like bare minimum you need for this deck. The rest of the options are less so. So let's say we take out every legendary apart from Nobilis. So we take out PSI because she's not mandatory. We take out Shining Valkyrie. Take out Cosmos Fang because again that's not Valkyrie. And we take out Rain. Rain you probably do want to keep in, but it's not necessary. So yeah, Tamlim is needed. But in terms of legendaries, we're taking out those are the cards that don't really add. So you can obviously add a third. Autumn Leaf Man is a fairly easy inclusion. What does Jabera Bear do? Jabera Bear maybe, but I wouldn't really say it's an option. I'd definitely consider it. So what are we missing now that we've taken out those cards is the main thing you always need to check. So we've taken out some of our board clear and damage, and we've taken out some extra storm. So we kind of need to replace those just to make sure. So in that case, I'd say maybe a cheap option would be an Adherent Annihilation or two. Like, the ambush effectively works as a storm, the evolve helps you survive a little longer. What does Calyx do? Calyx is not particularly useful. Yeah, you need draw, so good to the first probably a good example of draw would be, where are you? Where is everyone's favorite? Is of course Angel's Blessing. Angel's Blessing. It's like if you find a deck that needs more draw, Angel's Blessing can't go wrong. Let's see, what's some... So if they're running this kind of low budget version, then Breezy Elf could probably be put in just as a kind of early board pressure tool. He's still a 3.33 rush. Yeah, Angel's Blessing is fine going first and amazing going second, so that's why it's always worth putting in. So yeah, to get some of that like good early board pressure, again, also getting a fairy generator for Nobilis, and I'd say actually we're already filling the deck up quite a lot. What have we included that I don't think we actually need to include? So maybe 2 Breezy Elves, but I'm not entirely sure about that. I'm just going to I'll put them in for now, and I'll just double check what does Forest Remedies do. Okay, so Forest Remedies is similar to Angel's Blessing, but I'd say Angel's Blessing is still probably better. You don't benefit from... Fairy Wisps don't really benefit you. They're like... There's 0 point followers that are 1/1s, and if you've played at least 2 other cards, they banish themselves. So in some ways better than a fairy, some way not. That self-banish again is can be good and bad, because it's like it doesn't take up a board space, but obviously it doesn't put anything on the board either, so... Yeah, Illusions of Comfort is no good. If you find yourself needing to, like, replace your board... You need more board... Oh, yeah, it was Hero of Annihilation I put in. So if you find yourself, like, needing some board clear to like, make up for the fact you don't have PSI in the deck anymore, then Myvela is a nice, cheap option. Like, obviously, nowhere near as good, not going to put so much pressure, but if you're like, I desperately need board clear in the deck, then she's very useful if you're running on a tight budget. The other cheap board clear the slightly cheaper board clear option that's slightly well, no, same price actually, is Archangel of the Word, is another alternative. Archangel of the Word also hits face, so is a possibly... Actually, yeah, I think since Archangel hits face, I'd put some... In fact, I'm going to take out... Well, I'll overflow the deck for now, and then take things out later. Yeah, Archangel of the Word, I'd say, is a very good budget option for this deck, because it's both board clear and aggression, with the because the 1 damage hits face as well. So definitely a solid choice. You find yourself needing some hard removal and also aggression. Skewering Snare is alright. I'm still surprised I don't see Skewering Snare like as often. I guess hard removal just isn't... I'm going to put the Breezy Elves back on the deck so I can I can cut things down later. I was very surprised that hard removal on a spell just isn't like super valued these days. It's like, that's just straight up better Dance of Death. That used to be a playable card. How times have changed. Because if you really want some more early control options, there's a gold forest card that's that can be quite useful, especially against stuff like Portalcraft or Shadowcraft, or other or this is attack against Forestcraft, which is Erosive Annihilation, which at the end of your turn give -1/-1 to all enemy foes. Possibly a good thing to play along if you're also playing the Adherent, because she'll draw a card from that. Because that basically, for 1 play point, you get 3 turns of neutering your opponent's board, which can, if you find yourself getting out-aggroed by, say, like, people playing more complete versions of this deck, then that will, like, slow them down by a lot. Because even if it doesn't kill, that's still a permanent effect. So even if it doesn't kill, it still like reduces their attack. That's very good against most early aggressive decks like other Forest Graph decks, but it's usually more of seen in more control-based decks. So I wouldn't really run it in this deck, but it can. But like if you're running on a budget and you don't mind spending a bit on some gold cards, or you have them already, then it's definitely worth putting in. So Bird Protection is not in for this deck. Robbie's is not for this deck. If you have it, Guiding Bellringer Angel is always a nice option. Again, not the best card in this deck, but it can be quite useful again because it's a sticky follower. It can get buffed by Forest Merchant. Obviously, she starts with no attack in the first place, so not a particularly aggressive follower. So I wouldn't really put it in the deck. Gilanese can be quite aggressive, but mostly, again, that's another healing. That's more of a healing card. You wouldn't really put her in that. Also, Legendary. We're trying to cut down on. We're trying to make this a budget deck. Sorry. Yeah. So let's just have a quick. So we kind of want. One of the things we did cut out a lot is like more aggressive damage. That's just what I'm looking for whilst flicking through. Something to kind of like give you the extra reach that you'd get from, say, like, oh no, that's only an enemy follower when he evolves. That's not so great. No, not Infernal Titan. You want something to replace the kind of like Brilliant Fairy or Shining Valkyrie. No, you don't have. It's like Fudo, maybe? No, this Fudo's only 5 damage, and also it's a gold, and we're trying to cut down. But that's the main thing that the deck's going to suffer a bit, is it's going budget and taking out stuff like Cosmos Fang and Shining Valkyrie or Brilliant Fairy. Yeah, Brilliant Fairy is just that kind of card. As like maybe if it was a 3-cost 2/3, should be a lot player. Like I'd seen tournament deck lists run 1 or 2 Brilliant Fairies in this deck. Because with Nobilis with Nobilis buffed fairies, that actually does work out pretty well. But yeah, I can see she has just always been a bit of an awkward card. But yeah, so that's. Yeah, okay. Like, that's Enhanced 8 Gain Storm. That's a bit late. You're already getting that from Flying Mistletoe Squirrel. Like, Thunder God of the Tempest is always a handy card. Like, it's a gold card, but it's a gold card you can put in a lot of decks. Like, as an amulet, you can actually... You can accelerate it early, and then late game you can use it as a something to attack with. I don't really have the Evos to use World Tusk Mammoth, so probably something you're going to have to accept with going budget on this deck is not having having a lot less kill power without. Because I'd say going a little budget, I'd say have at least 1 Cosmos Fang. If you're going to have only 1 additional kill option, then Cosmos Fang is probably a good choice. Especially in lower ranks, it's going to be harder for them to deal with it. So I'd probably say take out the Breezy Elves. And yeah, you might get it from you can get it from temp gems easily, so you don't have to spend vials on it. So we take out Erosive because we're trying to reduce the cost, and because we're taking out Erosive, I'd take out the Adherence. So yeah, I'd say... I said my basic... I'll save this as my fairy deck because my actual fairy deck needs like updating. I need to check like the recent JCG results. So yeah, this is kind of like a slightly more budget fairy. It's still... So you've still got 4 legendaries, but obviously you can make the Cosmos Fang and one of the Nobilis with temp gems if you have them. Also, that's just not super painful. Has got a fair amount of golds, like, I guess. Actually, we can... Let's cut down on some of the golds that are less necessary. And I mean, by the gold that is less necessary, I think we can replace Miracle Harvest with something, with a generic Water Fairy. So now we have both stages of Water Fairy in the deck. Like, that's making it more, that is another card to generate fairies. Again, if we're going to chomp, as they're going down absolute, like, you really don't, you kind of need Blast Fairy, but if you really are hurting for vials, again, really would not recommend it, but you can always replace with Fairy Whisperer. But in this case, I really would not, because, well, first of all, Flying Whisperer is just better Fairy Whisperer, and that's a bronze anyway. But, yeah, just Blast Fairy is just so useful in controlling the early game. So where have I put my Blast? Where are my Blast Fairies? There they are. So I would really not, well, just controlling in general. Yeah, I would really not replace those because they can be so, and you need, honestly, replacing one drop with a I'm just gonna double check, is there not a better like, you could put Wayfaring, yeah, because it'll help against early aggro, like from other Fairy Forest decks, from Handless, from Artifact. Even just when it's just doing 1 damage, it's very powerful. So I'm just double checking if there's anything else. Floral Bleeds is really only for a deck Whirlwind Assault you need to build around. Really. So I think, yeah, I think that's about as budget as we can get. Like, Water Fairy again, I'm just going to double check through 1/1s to see if there's a better. Yeah, that's not useful. Flower Fox isn't useful again, because what we really would like is a 1-drop with a decent fanfare, but Gargoyle isn't particularly useful. Wayfaring Goblin, maybe. So you could, if you find you need something neater than Water Fairy that's easy to bounce with, Phantom Bloom in particular, and Wayfaring Goblin, maybe, but actually no, Phantom Bloom. Oh no, it is any follower. Any one Playfight follower. Yeah, Water Fairy, obviously Aqua Fairy is just the better Water Fairy, but you can have both, but obviously you'd want to have Miracle Harvest if you have it. But yeah, so unless anyone else in chat's got some ideas, I think that's about as cheap as we can go with the deck. I need to remember to put the deck codes up on so yeah, here is the budget fairy deck. If you want an expensive fairy deck, you can look them up from the thing, and there's the QR code for it. Yeah. Yeah, it can be. So as far as playing the deck, you do really want to try and make sure you have Nobilis on 4, especially if you're going second. And if that doesn't happen, you are in a bit of a pickle. This is basically it. But it can still but the chances of it overwhelming the opponent still make it quite potent, and you can definitely, as I said, you can definitely do early laddering with this deck. And obviously better if you have the other legendaries for it. But, yeah, so that was... I think so. I think... might as well, pop into Unranked and see how it does. Let's have a little thing, because I might get some ideas from playing on it. So I ended up going a bit longer than initially, but then that's why I do these on stream, so I can get feedback live and make edits along the way. So we're up against it. That was a pretty good start. So I'm going to... Yeah, Nobilis going second. So let's put in Forest Merchant to see... Ah, so this is... We've got a pretty good early game here. Are they playing... Sublime's a bit weird. Yeah, this is basically ideal starting hand. You can just play a bunch of cards. We don't have a... Okay, it's Ward Haven. That's slightly annoying. So, well, we're playing this regardless of what their opponent's doing, but I'm trying to think if it's better to trade in... Or like, maybe I should have put Breezy Elf in over Archangel of the Word. But I think for now I'm just going to bonk with that, because we're not planning on bouncing anything. Okay, that's pretty good. They're not playing anything additional on the board. So what we can just do this turn is play 2 fairies and Autumn Leaf Man. Which again doesn't make our... probably doesn't help us that much against Ward Haven. They don't do that much damage, like effect damage, but it plays a wide board and at least 2 of them fairies, so that when we Nobilis this turn, they get buffed, and yeah, we'll make a very scary board this turn. So we just play... So this is like kind of the deck in action. So you play Nobilis. We're going to evolve... Now the question is, do we evolve Nobilis? I think we do. It makes the board a bit scarier. Does mean we can't actually make use of the 2 extra play points, but... It just makes the board wide and scary. And what they'll probably do next turn is they'll make their very wide ward board. They'll evolve their Pegasus Knight so that we'll have an Evo point advantage, so we can play this Angel's Blessing next turn, which is very good. And they're going to trade off these things anyway, which is fine. More wards is generally kind of annoying, but otherwise this is fairly manageable, and we drew another Nobilis. Great. So we want to make a bit of hand space before we play this Angel's Blessing so we don't overdraw, so it'd be best to play one of these fairies first. Then we Angel's Blessing. Ooh, that's pretty spicy. So what's the best? I'm trying to think what our best option is here. I think if I hit that to make space, then Precocious. So we're going to have too many cards in hand here, which is a bit of annoying, but okay, so we can clear the board. Can we clear the board? No, wait. Ah, shit, we can't clear the board. I fucked up. This is my great problem. I just think too fast. So what's... Forgot this can't actually, Wait, no. Oh, no, yeah, we can't clear everything. Shit. I fucked up. But... It's okay, because we can probably kill next turn. Like, they'll have this Pegasus, and that can hit us for 7, which is pretty scary. But hopefully we pressured them enough that they might actually be tempted to trade with that. They probably have a bunch of, yeah, they're not there. So they're going to hit us for 7, which is, again, less than ideal. But, right, well, okay, so we overdrew that, that's fine. I'm just trying to think. So Nobilis doesn't wipe the board, but Archangel of the Word actually does. So I'm tempted to... So if I play Nobilis and evolve a Nobilis, what does that do? That, oh no, that does wipe the board because then I can Nobilis now. So first things first, we want to play one of these, yeah, so we play one of these fairies. Then we Nobilis. Evo. Archangel. We just have to figure out a way to kill them next turn, because if they get that's fine. Ooh, Wilbert's less fine. We really need Tamlin. Damn, they've got Wilbert's affected us. So this is not... I think we're screwed. Because we don't have a way to, like, kill our own fairies, which would be very ideal. So we've got all these fairies, but they can just... Well, actually, if they somehow... Like, I think our only option, really, is to just play out the fairies and hope they don't have, Yeah, I'm not really seeing a way out that isn't just play fairies and hope they don't have, Holy Saber in hand. Or any other or another Maus Jester. Oh yeah, they have Wilbert Burn effect. I'm just dead next turn, aren't I? Yeah. Maybe they're stupid. Sometimes you just gotta be like, maybe my opponent is dumb. Let's see. Let's see if they accidentally wipe the board. No, they had Holy Saber. I had 2 Holy Sabers. We were mega screwed. Yeah. Yeah, they're trying to play... The thing, it's hard for me to play budget decks because I don't get matched against other people playing budget decks. So I just get outvalued. Also, I just think I just played a bit iffily. You know, not having stuff like, that's where this deck starts to, like, fall apart, is it doesn't have very good, board clear. So maybe I should have put my Vela in here. Well, I'll try another game, see if we can get it working. I think Wardhaven is probably a pretty poor matchup because, again, we can't really deal with their board so well, and they keep blocking us. Another Havencraft player. I wonder what they're playing. Okay, so... If playing Wardhaven, we do kind of want to have this Archangel of the Word. We don't really want Felper without any support for it. So I'm gonna just keep Nobilis. Okay, that's pretty good. Like, Tamlin would have been, actually, no, Tamlin wouldn't have saved us because we wouldn't be able to have killed. Yeah, they didn't play anything that turn. So I'm gonna try and push more boards more than anything. They just not have... Ooh, that's pretty good. So now we got one. In this case, it's best to bounce the Aqua Fairy because that generates us more fairies because we get to play it again. This is what kind of like the deck does in kinds of like overrunning the opponent. We've already done 7 damage by turn 3. Obviously, they've done nothing. Okay, so they're Heal Haven. So this is kind of awkward. Like, I kind of want to play Nobilis, but if we play... So first of all, we just hit with everything. So I think rather than playing Nobilis this turn, I'm going to push for more damage with this Phantom Bloom by bouncing it. And then I bounce the Aqua Fairy so that I can generate another... Approaches is probably not going to help me. So like they're already down to 6 HP. They'll heal 2, so they'll probably play and they'll probably heal 4 this turn because they'll play and evo Bellerophon, and then they'll just let that both of those proc off to. But now we have a bunch of fairies with which to get aboard. So then we play. Yeah, we have to play 1 fairy. And we play Nobilis. So now we have a shitload of fairies that explode on death. You evolve Nobilis and might as well trade her in. And then we just play more of these fairies. And it's like once all these fairies are dead, then our Tamlins will be active. And it's entirely possible if they can't heal. They're going to heal a bunch because it's Heal Haven and they can do that, but they're also going to take a bunch of damage. It depends entirely how much healing they have in hand. So here's an option. So Tamlins are... that's 6 damage each. Yeah. If only it was a leader effect, and they had Rush, and it was all fairies that you ever generated. But yeah, I'm kind of tempted to just play Cosmos Fang. They can kill Cosmos Fang with double Baha. Because like just playing out the fairies, that's just another 6 damage, which isn't going to kill them. So destroy an enemy follower. Tamlin does not destroy amulets. That's what you were thinking. Oh yeah, just 2 Tamlins. I'm dumb. Hopefully. Yeah. I was like... Streamer brain moment. I completely forgot. Oh yeah, it's just 10 damage there from 2 Tamlins. Thanks for pointing that out. I would have genuinely missed that. Oh, overthinking. A big case of overthinking. So that's how it can like overrun even a heavy control deck, because especially Heal Haven, which clears boards pretty regularly, but you're like, okay, you've cleared my board, but my board just dealt massive amounts of damage to you, so my board was all exploding fairies. Yeah, thank you for catching that and not making me look stupid. So, I say we do like 3 games of this deck, just to see. That, like, they still healed like a pretty decent amount. Obviously, they didn't draw what they really wanted to draw was something like would have been a big heal like the brain work, please. Gillenese. That's the one. Okay, so against Bloodcraft, I don't really want to keep Leaf Man. So like, this is unranked, so they might be playing. Oh, that's pretty good. That was pretty good. So if we're lucky, they won't have much to do on these turns, and we can just we've got 3 Phantom Bloom Predators. Yeah, Tamlin can quite easily. Yeah, I think that's an important thing to forget is. So they're playing Evo Blood, so we have a chance. If this was an so we're just going to like kind of go, okay, just we've got all these Phantom Blooms in hand, so I'm just going to hit their face aggressively and force them to react to my board rather than me really considering theirs, because they're playing Evo Blood, which is a more mid-rangey deck, and I'm playing a more aggressive deck, so it's usually in my better interest to go more for face. So I can just, so I'll just like. Again, if this was a gold Aqua Fairy, it would be in a much better spot because we'd be generating a bunch of fairies. Yeah. I said, so at this point of the game, we can safely ignore this Tavali, because it won't be doing anything for a while. But yeah, so basically we want to get the damage in before they can, just kind of kill them before they can heal. Mini Soul Devil is a bit of a pain. Trying to think if we've got actually anything in the deck that deals with it. It might just be another thing we completely ignore. So, how do I want to do this? I think... Yeah, I think, again, I'm just going to rush them before they can kill me. So they're only on 2 Evos right now. So if they can somehow get to 5 next turn, that'll be a problem. But they haven't got any, they haven't got any card draw set up, auto card draw set up next turn. They do have, the Itsurugi card in hand. But I don't think I'm winning this match. With this start, I don't think I'm winning this match, so I'm just going to... No point evolving because that gives, maybe I should have evoed the water... No, that would have not done anything. Because the Mini Soul Devil just counters the evo stats, essentially. So it's just a waste. Yeah, so at best they'll have 5 evos here. So that's the one we really wanted to have this turn. Oh, I forgot about Scorpion. They had Waltz in hand anyway, so the Scorpion. So it didn't really matter that we So they're only at 4 out of 5. So okay, that's a pretty good draw. But I'm just trying to think, how the hell do we kill? So I'm going to start with the draw, I think, with the Angel's Blessing. Because obviously, again, Tamlin's not active and they're going to start healing this turn, which is a problem. Archangel Word doesn't do much. I think we are a wee bit screwed. But Tamlin can blow up Dancing Mini Soul Devil. Not great, but it's... Then how do we deal with Tavali? Is the question. Okay, I think we can do this. So we have to use a Tamlin here, which is a bit painful. But I miscounted the cards that I had played. Whoops. Okay, but we have to kind of do this in this really awkward fashion. This is an awkward play, but it's for the sake of not dying and stopping them from healing as much. Okay, so we got Nobilis. So what I want to try and do this turn is... What I'm hoping will happen here is they'll just play a wide board or something like that. Jupiter isn't active, so they don't heal, so that's fine. Okay. So they're at 6 Evos. So pretty much our only option here right now is to Cosmos Fang and try and kill them the next turn. Yeah, I'm just double checking, like, Nobilis doesn't kill... Well, doesn't put us anywhere close to killing, I don't think. Unless if Cosmos Fang sticks, it does kill and possibly saves us from dying this turn. So I'm pretty like... Big chat, is there lethal I'm not seeing here, or is my best option to... Bloodlust Strike, what the fuck is... Oh right, because they're in Vengeance. Shit, you're right. Yeah, the strike effect from that, yeah. Bloodlust Demon Strike. But I'm trying to think what else other options we really have. I guess it's a Nobilis turn then, yeah. Okay. Thinking too fast. Not thinking fast enough, rather. Running out of time, just have to play cards. Fuck. Well, I'm dead. Yeah, we were pretty dead regardless. We just didn't, there was no options, good options there. If they were not in Vengeance, we'd have had a chance. Okay, so yeah, not great when you're going against full built decks, but then budget decks rarely are. We still won against that one, Yeah, honestly, whilst Cosmos Fang does die, I think Cosmos Fang was still our best option. Because otherwise nothing else would have cleared their board. We didn't have any other options that would clear as far as I could see. We needed Blast Fairies earlier so that we could, like, deal with those, mini Soul Devils better. And just help against their early board. I think we don't really have much better options against it, really. Yeah, so... So, after that, going to... edit the deck a little, I think. Because I think... these Archangel of the Words aren't being helpful at all. I think they're actively hurting the deck. So what do we replace those with? Like, if Rose of Annihilation is... I guess if they're replacing a gold, then we should really put back in Miracle Harvest. Yeah, I think Water Fairy is not great because it doesn't help us gain a fairy. So I think I'm gonna say possibly don't put, if you can help it, don't drop your Miracle Harvests for Water Fairy. It's just not very, it's just very weak in this kind of deck. Unless the Miracle Forests obviously can heal and draw cards. No, Amethyst is legendary, we can't put that in. Yeah. I definitely think it's probably hurt a bit too much by going budget. It's hard for me, hard for me to tell this. This is the problem when trying to showcase budget decks is, again, I'm going to get matched against people who are not running budget decks. Because I play the game a lot, and even on unranked, there's still some matchmaking going on. So I think, since we've been losing a lot earlier, I think Breezy Elf, actually. Maybe? I don't know. I really don't know. It's hard to kind of replace it. And again, this isn't a deck I'm used to playing. Because if we go to, like, the, we have to go back to the title screen for the daily bonus. Because we go back to, like, the, I look at, like, a proper constructed version of the deck. And trying to think about what they're running and what this budget version's really lacking in. Yeah, they've been running That's interesting. Completely forgot about, Machete Elf. Okay. Okay. So this is actually still a bit more... This isn't even running Cosmos Fang. Interesting. Am I missing any of these cards? I am missing a Noxious Elf. So okay, but that gives me... So that's what we can put into our budget deck. Well, first I'll just explain something. So they've only got one rain because I guess they only use it once. Noxious Elf is a weird card that's been seen around, but it does a lot of things. So you can fuse... It's a 2-play.2/1 that you fuse fairies to. And yeah, so I'll get to like an explanation. So when the card is fused to the card, if it's the third card this match that's been fused to it, you draw 3 cards. That's kind of like the main thing of the deck. So you fuse 3 fairies to it, and that draws 3 cards. Did I say 2/1 or did I say what? Did I say 2/1 instead? Sorry, yeah, it's a 2-play.1/2. But it's okay. I don't think this part's going in the guide because, as I said, I don't think I played the guide matches, and obviously it's going way too long now. I'm going to explain on stream anyway for anyone currently watching. As this is kind of like a side thing. But yeah, so the main thing you can kind of see it as a way to turn 3 fairies into card draw. Which can be very important if you, say, have lots of fairies but no nobilis. Because drawing a card is like replacing a fairy with a card was. The other few, like, and then it goes up in additional 3s for additional effects. So 6, when you've used 6 fairies to it, you deal 6 damage, and whenever you deal 9, it heals you for 9. It's got this very strange fanfare that you really shouldn't play around, where if you've fused 10 cards, in this case 10 fairies, then it puts 10 fairies into... It clogs your opponent's deck with 10 fairies, which can do stuff, but typically there's never consistent enough to actually help you out in any way, shape, or like be beneficial in any way, shape, or form. But it's there. It's a thing. People did do it initially in the early times, and then it's just a Bane follower, and it's on Evo. It does 2 damage to all enemy followers whilst gaining full stats, which is just a nice little board clear. But yeah, the main reason you run it is to turn 3 fairies into just cards from your deck, essentially, into card draw. But, yeah, did not think about Machete Elf to just adding more. I keep forgetting that's a card. Yeah. The draw is the main appeal. Actually playing the body is just kind of like, oh, okay. Like, you'll most likely just play it as a 2 play point card to increase your card count, or just as a 1/2 Bane to be annoying on the board once you fuse to it. So actually, yeah, let's just copy that deck, but without but taking out that rather than going to that, because yeah, so I won't bother creating that because we're trying to reduce things. So this one's still running 3 Size. If we take out, but since we're no longer running Cosmos Fang, we can run this one copy of Rain. And then instead of Knock Yourself, we can run a I said Knock Yourself was helping with card draw, so probably best to replace it with a with card draw rather than say a 3rd Machete Elf. So if you replace that with an Angel's Blessing, and then let's say we want to make this just slightly more budget and replace one of these PSIs with the Machete Elf. So this is our new so what we've learned from our I should have just previewed, sorry, I didn't mean to go into the deck edit screen. So what we've kind of learned from our games is that you really kind of need the kind of like board clear option of PSI. You kind of need at least one Rain, so you have that option for the board control from the double Evos. And yeah, Machete helps you flip the board whilst also pushing damage. Is the main draw I'm seeing there. So it's another early game board control option. Whilst also pushing face. So that probably is a better option than what we were trying to use Angel of the Word for that. But this is a better option because it scales better into the game, because it's a 2 play point 2/2, which is pretty good on its own. And the fanfare deals 1 damage to a random enemy follower and then the enemy leader. So that at base, at 2 play points, that's pretty good. That can quite easily help with that aggression, especially if you're going first. It'll kill whatever 1-drop your opponent played, unless it was a 1/2. But on Enhance 4, it deals 3 damage instead of 1 damage. And then on Enhance 7, it deals 3 damage twice. So obviously, Enhance 7, that's very expensive. That's going to, that's not efficient, but it is an option for killing, and it's an option for killing that doesn't care about your opponent's board state. It just hits face. Well, it hits face and the board, obviously, but yeah, you'll usually only play this as a 2 play points or failed play points, and 7 is just as like, I'm just out, I just missed my chance to kill the opponent, this will kill them, kind of deal. Yeah, it's another reach for lethal, because the stack doesn't really... Your main, like, explosive turns are only going to be from, like, Tamlim, and that's only, like, 10 damage at most, usually. So you're going to just want to keep your opponent low so that something like Machete Elf or single Tamlim or Flying Mistletoe Enhance, Squirrel Enhance kills them. So I might actually have to do some minor video editing to kind of make this kind of work, so I can just show off, or I'll probably just put it in the description. I'll see what Twitch lets me do. Obviously, since this is a forest deck, and I am the 2 in silver, we must have the silver sleeves. It's mandatory. But okay, so I need to take a quick break. I need to go to the bathroom. And then what I guess I'll do something, play some Unlimited from the play some of the Unlimited Cup in the Unlimited Grand Prix, and just show off some Unlimited gameplay, which won't take long. Unlimited is very fast usually. Also, I'm not that great at it. But yes, I'll do that after the break, because I need to go to the bathroom. The digital rabbit bathroom. Don't think too hard about it. So I'll be back in just a minute. And I'm back. And I haven't actually... Technically, I've seen a lot of D-Shift in Unlimited because, I've been playing G-Shift a lot, so I'll kind of show you when I pick my deck. So I usually play Dimension Shift. So I'll just kind of explain the deck before I jump into a game. Which, as you can see, one of the nice things about Unlimited is quite a few of the competitor decks are quite budget-friendly. Because the only legendary in this entire deck is Sacred Bird of Wisdom, which is not necessarily required. You're basically using it for this accelerate that heals, which is very good and very worth having. But it's not necessary, and you can sub it out. So you can make this deck with no legendaries. Of course, you're making unlimited decks, and not all of these cards are usable in standard. But it is a very good bird with the hat. It is worth having. But the main thrust of this deck is Dimension Shift, which is an old Runecraft card, where it's a very simple card. It costs 20 play points, so out of the gate you can't really play it. Its spell boost is that you'll reduce its cost by 1, so that's how you actually get it to a playable state. And the effect is simple: you take an extra turn after this one. So the whole idea of this deck is you have a Dimension Shift or 2 in hand. You play all these followers that spell boost alongside, so you get that Dimension Shift to 0 usually. And then you just take several extra turns and hit them in the face. Now, I haven't actually updated this deck with the newest set cards, which might make it more expensive, because I think the new Legendary might be a thing people are including. I haven't tried it yet, and I haven't been bothered to update the deck. But I've been doing fine with this version. Yeah. Well, one of the things in like the semi-recent decks is Crystal Fencer stopped late dimension shifts being too dead because of how much it spell boosts by. So you can actually get a late dimension shift down pretty quickly if you have 2 Crystal Fencers on hand, because that's 10 spell boosts already. So it is actually quite possible to rapidly cut down on your Aegis, but yeah, you still want it at least by turn 3 usually, or preferably at least 1 in your opening hand. But as I said, just through the sheer power of Crystal Fencer's ludicrous amounts of spell boosts. Yeah. We'll play some games. We'll see what's in the state of the Grand Prix. I didn't come across any other D-Shift rune decks. I've seen also Earthright Rune Burn has apparently been doing pretty good in the in Unlimited now. Yeah, I haven't actually checked what any of the latest set cards affect the Unlimited decks. As I said, I'm not an Unlimited player. So up against Forestcraft. Forestcraft in Unlimited is almost always a specific combo type deck. So since we've got D-Shift in hand, we want to replace these with cards that are like cheaper, so we can start spell boosting earlier. Not a great start, to be honest. Because we've got the Dimension Shift, but we don't have cards to start our spell boosters. That is... Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. I actually want to... They could be... Oh yeah, they could be Roach if they're playing this. I keep forgetting. I've been playing against so many Koizumi decks that I forgot Roach still existed. So, like, as much as I want to play this Sacred Bird now, because otherwise it's going to be a bit more complicated, I kind of want to make sure I actually heal with it. Okay. Or if they, for some reason, make a wide board, like play a Phantom Bloom Predator if they're running some kind of unlimited aggro deck, then I can use Sacred Bird to clear that. But if they're not, I'm going to be sitting here going, oh no, I'm not going to have a turn 2. Or much of a turn 3, so hopefully we draw. Yeah, maybe I should have played the Sacred Bird first. Oh no, they're playing Phantom Bloom. So they're definitely, so I guess they've... So whilst we're not using it for spell boost, which is probably bad, we do really need to kill this Phantom Bloom Predator off. They're being very aggressive. This is great. I'd like to... I'm gonna just play board card. Like, maybe Angel's Blessing would have been better, but I'd rather play Angel's Blessing next turn when I've got the Evo point extra effect. Yeah, I'm not too thrilled about our chances here. That's a lot of invokes! Yeah, I'm controlling the board at least, instead of hitting me in the face, which I'll take as a small blessing. It's just hilarious. It's too many invokes. It would have been nice to see you a bit earlier, Chakram Wizard. Like, yeah, I don't want to leave that. I'm gonna evo just because I'm scared. I'm scared. I don't want to leave that Walder alive. In case they start doing bout shenanigans with him. Like, there's a lot of other things they get to do. Yeah, this just seems to be a this doesn't even seem to be Roach, this just seems to be a particularly aggressive unlimited forest deck. That just invokes half its deck. This hurts. But we're not quite dead yet. Probably dead next turn though. Okay, that makes things a little better. Okay, so if we kind of have to do it on D shift because if we don't get to our D shift, we just lose. Okay, this is getting somewhere. Do that first so we draw a card first. Okay, we can at least clear the board. Surviving is another matter. Shoot that. Because we're just going to Ice Storm. I've done this in slightly wrong order. Whoops. Fucked up. Okay, we just need to hope. Gonna Evo for the spell boost. And hope we survive a turn. It's unlikely, but we might. Yeah. I think that was the best we could really manage in this situation. Stabilizing. Like, if we're not dead this turn, we win. But we're almost certainly dead this turn. They've almost certainly got 11 damage. There's 2. Still have Volbuts in their deck. Yeah, there's Sekko, we've lost. We're dead! Unless they somehow don't have Bounce or another Shamu Shana. Not actually dead if they don't have any additional damage to go alongside that. Do they have 1 more damage? Do they have it? They do! Fuck! Yeah. It was close. We had, they had hard matchup because they're running very hard, very aggressive deck against our slightly slower deck, and we didn't really get much, good early options. We needed a few more. We needed a few. Yeah, I haven't seen Aggro Forest in Unlimited for a long while. It's mostly Hoizumi or Roach, right? Okay. what I do when I don't have D-Shift is I do kind of be a bit greedy, and I do keep, if I've got Fate's Hand, I keep that. Because I want to have at least one card to benefit off spell boost, so I can start insighting, and that'll hopefully start drawing me, just draw me through quicker. Like, I'm not entirely sure it's the best idea, that's just kind of like my gut feeling. So this is probably Roach if they're running Thunder God. So I'm going to Secrets the Fate's Hand so that we can get that out quicker. Maybe I should have Secrets the Crystal Witch, but no, that would also just put it down to 2. Neither of which particularly helps us. Yeah, this is Hoizumi deck. So we want to kind of like play these fates. A bit annoying. Where are you? So we don't draw. I mean, it's unlimited. I don't really care. If you got an OTK combo in unlimited on turn 4, it's like it's a silly format. It's supposed to be silly. It's nowhere near consistent enough to be like. So I'm going to do Secrets this Fate's Hand so that we can do a bit of a kind of cascading into a lot of card draw here. And please. And I draw D-Shift. 2 come along at once. Typical. Okay. I'm actually going to keep the rest of these cards so that I can start spell boosting D-Shift next turn and hope. What I need to do is get some more card draw so that Crystal Fencer is online so I can rapidly spell boost these D-Shifts. We've got a lot of spell boost in hand right now, but we might just be dead to a combo on turn 5 that we can't stop. But they might not have it. They have to actually draw the cards. That is one of the cards that does... Okay. Ooh, that might be funny. See, the additional Fairy Wisps aren't actually going to do anything for their, board, because they've already got 2 anymore, so I might as well fill their hand with this Fairy Wisp. And then I play 1 Chakram. Evolve him so that I can start playing even more spell boosted cards. Yeah, kind of did this in a bit of a wrong order. Oh well, because I again can't accelerate this Sacred Bird. Whoops. Okay. Which again is very annoying because we're going to be 1 card off. I really wanted to draw something. They don't get the Wisp anyway. Really, I don't think it makes much different odds which of those I bounced. I think we're dead anyway. Or are we? That is not the sound of them killing us. Okay, so they're, I fucked this up a bit. I just need to draw one card more this turn. I really should have fucking played the Sacred Bird when I have the chance. But then I wouldn't be... Yeah, I'm just really in not a great shape this turn. Okay. But that still doesn't really get us anywhere. This was like, it's my only option. I think we're dead. Unless by some modern miracle they have not drawn. I mean, maybe I should have hit May. It's not making my life any easier, any less likely to get murdered by Koizumi. But I think they have the cards in hand. Do full combo if they have Koizumi in hand anyway. But at this point, they might have accidentally overdrawn like parts of their combo, so we might not be dead. They must have at least one. That's not Koizumi! Which means if we can draw any amount of spell boost, we win. We can draw anything. Okay, so we start with this. Okay, I got this. We can play, then we play this D-Shift, play this Witching Moge, play this Sacred Bird. Yay, we won. Hello, Evelyn. And then let's not beat around the bush. Eee. So yeah, that's the problem. They just not draw Koizumi all that time. Did you have a nice dinner, Evelyn? We're playing Unlimited because it's the GP. I'm playing D-Shift Rune. Well, that's good. Decent is fine. A decent supper is better than no supper at all. Yeah. Dragoncraft in Unlimited. What does Dragoncraft in Unlimited do these days? Okay, so we don't want to keep any of these. To be honest, our deck didn't really work so much as our opponent's deck didn't. They just didn't get their combo, their main combo piece. And I'm guessing drew a lot of the cards that are mostly there to be comboed in. Okay, so the running Scalebound implied. That doesn't really tell us much. So yeah, I usually like Secret Sing Fate's Hand because I want to get more cards more than anything else. Hopefully... Oh, no ramp on 2. That's pretty good. Okay. I already know which of these cards I want, if I want to story yet. I think I'm going to hold on to it until it draws 4. What does Goblin Mage pull? What kind of weird gimmick are they doing? Okay, I'm just going to discard one of these Grimoire Sorcerers. This isn't worth holding on to. We're just going to lose if we continue this nonsense. Please, deck, give me cards that do things. Okay, there's the ramp. What does Goblin Mage pull from the deck? It has to pull something specific if they're running it. Think, brain, think. Okay, I'm going to discard this Ice Storm. Yeah, Dagon OTK, that would make a lot of sense. Yeah, that... Where are my D shifts? Yeah. Where are the D shifts? Well, I played a wide board. I might as well evolve this, because if I wait on evolving, I mean, that does mean our Angel's Blessing is less good. Yeah, I'm going all in. I'm just making a really wide board, and hopefully they can't answer it, even if I don't have D-Shift. Even if I don't get D-Shift, I'm just gonna be like, I have a board of stuff. What you gonna do? You gonna ramp? You gonna prep for your OTK? You've got 2 Crystal Fences at least. And we do have a lot of card draw. Oh, thank you. You drew me a card. Whilst not actually affecting my board that much. Yeah. Well, they can't prep the OTK now. They can play Resplendent, at the very least. Okay, that was a turn they had. Okay, so what ordering do I actually want to do this? I need to get a card out of my hand, first of all. Which is not great, because none of the cards in my hand actually do much. I could play this Witching Moggy. Just on the hope. No, I'm going to Secrets this Witching Monkey. So I need to get cards out of my hand before playing this card. So that's got us our Dimension Shift. So we've got Dimension Shift, so hopefully we can pop off next turn. And I'm going to play this smaller Witching... do I want to play the smaller Witching Moggy and... They have to clear something off my board, otherwise they die. So I'm going to play the smaller Witching Moggy, just so I don't overdraw. Yeah, the fact we haven't Resplendent Phoenixed or Dagon me this, and they've only just hit Overflow. Means we still probably can't D-shift this turn, but again, as I said, I'm just trying to, at this point I'm just trying to pressure them. Just don't give them the space to breathe to set up for the OTK. More than anything. we don't have zero cost spells to D-shift here. We need to basically draw... It's basically if we draw... Well, I guess we got Crystal Witch for another... We have the Crystal Witch for another, Yes, but yeah, I don't think they've gotten out here. Like, what board clears do they run? They could... Nope, they're just... No, they're just giving up. So we won without D-shifting. Because our opponent just didn't have... Didn't have the options, or had to go to the bathroom or something. It's very rare to win without D-shifting. It's only when your opponent just doesn't have that great a turn. That great a start. Because they really didn't. They only played one ramp card and banished one of our cards and they played 3 cards that game. Okay, Bloodcraft. We will probably die very quickly. We definitely want to keep this kaleidoscopic glow. This is an absolutely vital card if we end up fighting against handless. Because bouncing something back to their hand stops their handless from proccing, though we would like. Okay. This is not a great start though, like, ugh. They did emote. I did. I have now. Shush. Look, I'm very distracted. Ugh. Oh, are they playing Wrath? Ooh, insights. Very good. Okay, and I said I want to draw cards, so I'm spell boosting the Fate's Hand. Not playing Chakrams this turn. I want to wait until. What are they doing? What is this deck? Okay, so they're not handless. Okay, I need to start drawing some cards. Hopefully. Okay, that's pretty good. So they're not playing handless, so I can use these a bit better. Yeah, maybe it is another, do I really want to play these Crystal Witches? I don't think so. It's a Vengeance Blood! With Belphegor! The fuck? This isn't something I haven't seen this deck in years! The fuck? Right, need to draw cards. Where are you? Okay, we got D-shift. So we play this Angel's Blessing. And then we secrets our D shift. And then we use Witching Mortgage. I really need to Sacred Bird this time. So we're going to overdraw a bit, but our hand is pretty stacked, so should be fine. And yeah, no, Belphegor's a card I haven't seen in a while. What are they planning to do? What is your game plan, Urius? Some kind of vengeance gimmick. Oh, they're potentially just dead. Okay, gotta play fast. We've got to... Yeah, I think they're Waltz OTK makes sense. I don't... Yeah, we're too short of, I think that's us dead. We can't D-shift. Fuck. Yeah, 3 off! Let's see, did they get their OTK? They're thinking. She either means they're trying to prolong my suffering, or they're disconnecting, or they don't have it! Except I dumped my hand because I'm a moron! But if they can't clear my entire board, they just took themselves out of vengeance! Okay, I just need to draw some followers. That's fine, I don't care about... Okay, I've got at least one thing on the board. Okay. And an Ice Storm, perfect. So, start with Insight. Actually... just give me a second, dear. I need to make sure I get this done. We don't need secrets. We can get rid of that. Ah, we can get rid of the ward. Excellent. And they're dead. We take our extra turn and we just hit him again. Oof. And Yazello, hello Medea. Right. Oh. There we go. Lovely to see you. How you doing this Sunday? Yep, they're deployed. As your request. Yeah. Oh yeah, because you were going to play World of Warcraft by the time I left. As I told you, like, you could limit, but that still cost you, and then maybe someone else will re-engage, and they're still on a timer. But yeah, so far, it seems we've won a lot by our opponents trying to run some kind of gimmick OTK build, but not actually finding the card that OTKs us. So, take those dubs. I was thinking a lot hard during that last turn, I was just to make sure. And I accidentally winded myself doing the sound effect for the airbags. No, thank you for following, Blobbly. Welcome, welcome. Hello indeed. So I'm just catching my breath. I really did somehow, in a combination of laughing and doing the inhaling sound effect, I winded myself. Thank you, Caden. I'm actually out of water. Hang on a sec. I'm just going to, let me just give me a second to go grab some water to actually drink for that hydrate redeem. Right, now I can do my hydrate and my stretch. So yeah, we've hit 3 wins, which is pretty good. That gets us... Well, you've come to the right place. I do try, like, whilst I'm no expert pro, I have played Shadowverse a lot, and I do try and make content that's more digestible for newer players. Sorry, I'm just in the middle of stretching. So yeah, right now playing in the unlimited Grand Prix, so using decks that are use cards from all the sets released with a small list of like restricted and banned cards. So I'm playing Dimension Shift Runecraft, which is an old Runecraft deck. This is a classic set card of just where you have to beat your opponent down by taking an extra turn. And you want to get this cost reduced down to 0 as fast as possible whilst drawing through your deck with all these other cards. So now we've got on to our 3rd match. Not 3rd match, 5th match. There. With the Grand Prix is just a event mode where they we try and win as many times in 5 matches using a single deck. Okay, so we're probably against another It's like, so they could be playing Dimension Shift or they could be playing Burn Rune. None of these are cards we particularly want to keep. Okay, this is a pretty good start. Sorry, hiccups. I have been playing for... yeah, pretty much since, like, shortly after the game launched. Like, I wasn't I wasn't there in, like, the exact launch, but I was still, like, still definitely in the first few months of the game. And the game has been around for, what, like, too long. Okay, I'm actually trying to think of which of these what to play at this point. Not really particularly good options. I'm actually going to wait a turn. Just not play anything this turn. They're not playing either, so I think they're playing Dimension Shift as well. Okay, not great options to play here, but I'm going to story this Fate's Hand. and play this. And we got our Fate's Hand back anyway. So I'm going to try and learn how to dig through the deck so that these crystal fences are active faster. So they're almost certainly playing the same deck as us, otherwise they would have played some far more Also, level 135 is just my level in Runecraft. I'm capped at level 150 on at least Swordcraft and Portalcraft, and I think Shadowcraft as well. Again, playing this game for a long time. Okay. So we are the mirror, so it all comes down to who gets their D-shift off first. And we've got a pretty... We're looking pretty good on that front at the very least. Because we've got these two crystal fences, but... It's hard to tell. Nature's Guidance is probably the card you're thinking of. Okay, so we start with that. Again, I kind of have to go zip through turns, and then we do that. Ooh, alright. Yeah, we're not actually playing. Ooh, draw cards first before playing other spell boosts. But yeah, that was probably Nature's Guidance was a card they kind of like effectively reprint a lot. Like there's a lot of similar cards in here. So oh, that would be yeah, that's Whirlwind Roach. I'm pretty sure. It's the Roach that gets more power depending on how many cards you've played in turn. It might be one of the forms of Roach. It's been reprinted in various forms a lot. But I have no knowledge of French. I think we've lost. I think they're going to D-shift us this turn. Yep, we're dead. We might not be if they can't D-shift again. They have to be able to D-shift again. Let's see, Greater Will's a card they're running. If they don't, so we only lose if they've got a second D-shift. Like, we take a lot of damage here, but we can actually clear their board and, oh no, they didn't kill us. Excellent. That means we get to, so we play this. Then we don't want to Angel's Blessing because I want to make sure I can play this Witching Monkey at the very least. Play this. Yeah, okay, we win. They only had one D-shift. We have a significantly more lethal board, and they're just giving up. They're not waiting for us to finish our job. I really should have remembered to play the Witching Moggy very last, even after the D-shift, because obviously it gets more power the more it's in your hand and getting spell boosted. But yeah, so if it was... So we won 4 out of 5, which is pretty good. I'd already qualified for Group A, because qualifying... So thank you, Blobble. Let's see, what do we get? What's in our box? In our box is 130 rupees and a card pack. Pretty good. Pretty good. But yes, let me just try and find, if I'm trying to remember, Let's see if I can jog your memory a bit and try and find. So it was a forest craft, gold follower. I can't remember. So was it this roach? This whirlwind rhinoceros? Roach, or actually, yeah, that is the only. The other roach is a isn't gold, I don't think. Yeah, roach is thankfully there isn't glad I brought back that memories. But yeah, roaches and old gods. There is. I have sad news for you. There is a new version of roach, but on the plus side, it's this card, Whirlwind Assault, and it is not seen play at all. It doesn't really work so well as a spell. So it basically makes other things into roaches, but it doesn't quite work in the current meta. There's better options. If you want to play Forestcraft, most people are playing Fairy Forestcraft. I made earlier in the stream. I did a deck. Yeah. So earlier in the stream, I did a deck guide on Fairy Forestcraft, just looking at it for a bit. And so that was that's that, and that's something I put up. I cut those out. I don't really have the skills to like do proper video editing on them, but I cut out the like deck guide sections and I'll put those on YouTube. Ah, the Shadowcraft deck. Yeah, those Shadowcrafts are pretty good and pretty versatile. I've seen a lot of decks, but yeah, Sononos is pretty good. She's in pretty much every Shadowcraft deck these days. Well, because like, I guess this one doesn't actually have Sononos in it, but I've seen Sononos in, yeah. But yeah, she's in a lot of Shadowcraft decks, and Shadowcraft is, I'd say, well, depends what variant of Shadowcraft. There's so many like different mishmashes of Shadow these days in this meta, so it's hard to kind of like pin down what exactly someone's playing, which is one of the strengths of the decks, because it can be pretty hard to like decide how to play it. I don't play a lot of Shadowcraft in this meta. It gets a bit weird. I'd probably play something like this Last Words deck, or some variety. But yeah, Shadowcraft is just generally strong. It's been strong for a while, but it's remained strong. It's not quite as uncrushable as it was like last set, but I think for a deck that you can mess about with, for a class you can mess about with and kind of mix and match things, I think Shadowcraft's probably the best. There's so many of its parts just work together well. You can just take bits from other various Shadowcraft decks and mix them into the various decks. Like the main deck I saw, deck name for Shadowcraft is just called Hybrid Shadow, because it's a bit of everything and no one really knows what the hell kind of deck it is, because it does all the things. But it's there, it works, it wins tournament games. Yeah, I don't think they've updated this yet with recent ones. So yeah, there's a Sononos in this Last Words deck. Am I missing anything from this? Yes, I am missing one Reap of Madness. This is Sononos in Hydra of Decay? No, she is not. Makes sense. But yeah, I'd imagine you'd probably... Things, as I said, not too difficult a deck to pilot these kinds of decks. They're mostly just mid-range decks, so as long as you play the important cards on the turns and recognize... Like, probably the hardest bit is recognizing what to hit with Burial Right. Here is my... Well, one thing about the legendaries of your old account is that they will definitely have rotated out by now, so they won't be in rotation. But you could possibly still play an unlimited game, or you could liquefy your legendaries for a lot of vials. So it might be worth trying to find your deck. But also, like, these days they do give you a lot to start out with anyway. They give you a fair amount of deck choices, and can we check the trial decks whilst we're here? No, we have to actually... Like, if I go into a solo practice match, I can just show these decks. You get a deck token for one of these trial decks, and currently, in the current meta, I would absolutely say take Crystallize Haven. It's by far the best choice. Armed Dragoncraft is still pretty bad, and Chess Runecraft is probably the next best okay deck, but it's still not great. But Crystallized Havencraft is actually a meta deck, so you get a bunch of cards to start you off with. You mainly just need to craft, to make this like truly viable, you just need to craft like a get a 3rd Diamond Master and 2 more Skullfiends. Obviously, you want more Holy Lightning Birds, but you only need at least 1 of them. But yeah, so it depends, because I don't know how many legendaries, a lot of legendaries, and if you want to... Well, don't worry, I picked chess as well, because I picked before they buffed chess, and they buffed all the decks, and Crystallize is the only one that really benefited a lot from the buffs. But Chess Runecraft is fun. I like playing chess because of Mystic King's sound effects, mostly. And I think chess will probably be a playable deck when they print one more chess card. I think if we get the Magical Bishop, as it will inevitably be, because that's the only chess piece we're missing, I think, then chess will actually be viable, because it's a lot of cases where you're just too short being able to get enough pawns on play. And what I want Magical Bishop to be a card that eats all pawns on the board for an effect. So you can clear your board of your own pawns rather than relying on you having stuff on your opponent's board to trade into. That's my wish list. That's my, like, I hope this deck has that card. I hope they give that card to this deck, and then it'll be good. Yep. Yeah, give me a moment. No, don't. Not. Do not go to links, do not take links to be famous. Okay. Deleted the bot, it's fine. Maybe I need mods. But yeah, so that was our unlimited games. Okay, well, good night, Blobble, and yeah, hope you get your account back, because obviously I think that'd still probably be a better option than starting afresh. It depends entirely what you have, especially if you want to play unlimited or you just want to liquefy your collection. But yes, as I said, I'll have and yeah, if you're still here, I'll have a VOD up for the deck guide somewhere up here, and my VODs are just generally around. I don't have my YouTube look handy, but you can find it on somewhere on my page somewhere. So, what time is it now? It's about 10, so I just want to play... Thank you, Blobble. I'm not done yet, Peach. I was gonna play a couple more games. Don't say thank you for the stream just yet. I just wanted to play some, because I just wanted to play. I ended up making Crystallize Haven. Slightly budget Crystallization Haven was not great, but no, this is the Crystallize Haven I'm running. I don't know why I have one Vadra champion. I don't know if that's still being used, but this is the version of the deck I'm running. So yeah, I just want to have some casual ranked games of Crystallize Haven, because it is a fun deck. I do like this deck a lot. Now that I've actually got it, and as I said, the trial deck is definitely, if you just want... More, no! Ooh, this is a very good start. I don't really need Wingy in hand to start, so I'm just going to start with the Shrine and the Bishop. Well, it's better to play Emerald Maiden early, for... We might just get run over by Swordcraft though, that does happen. We've got Jilanese though, that's pretty good. That'll help us recover. Jilanese and Impious Bishop is going to be pretty good at holding us down. Impious Bishop going second is actually very good. Is that all pop on for? Greetings, Sazume Neoax. I'm more of kind of like a general everything player. Yeah, I like playing pretty much all classes except... Actually, no, there's not a class I don't really enjoy playing. I usually play a lot of Portalcraft more than anything else. But, yeah, I just like, I am enjoying... This is not great. Yeah, just spent too much time playing Shadowverse. Okay, I'm gonna play out my hand because I want to get this Vadra champion down cheap. So we're gonna get our face hit a lot because we don't actually have any way of dealing with this early board. And hope we draw Skullfane more than anything else, really. But Vadra champion will help us out a lot. It'll help control the board. We might have to use this Jilanese to recover as well, rather than using it for damage. Yay, we got a Skullfane. Excellent. So in that case, we can pop all the things. We'll pop most of the things. We can pop. Okay, I'm just trying to think about what's the best option. Like, Jilanese recovers. Yeah, I think I want to get more Skullfanes off. More than anything else. So I'm going to do... Get him out, and then... Yeah, I'm going to Jilanese to kind of recover some HP. And deal with the board. Ah, so you play, Are you a Forestcraft player then, Suzume?
悪いやつはとっちめねえとな。
隊長任せてください。
ごめん。いきますよ。とにかく突っ込め。
This is fairly standard, like, rally swordcraft so far. Ah, dragon. Yeah, okay, so do you play a lot of, Baja Dragon then? That's pretty good. Oh god, I'm making too many weird. All my assumptions are going wrong today. Oh, you hate Baja. Baja. I see. I probably should be doing card draw first more than anything. Yes, I think I'm just getting Vajra Champion out this turn. Fortunately, we can't. Not going to Emerald Maiden because I don't want to board lock myself, and I do want to just deal with that. Yeah, because I need the space to actually play the Vajra Champion. Okay. Yeah. I'm kind of seeing less Baja decks these days. I think the meta's a bit too aggressive for Oh yeah, they had Hero of the Hunt in hand. I keep forgetting Swordcraft has a very easy way to deal with that. But at least they're not. At least that stopped them from playing. Yeah, Uranus does kind of like really help a lot with that. Okay. I really wish we had some. Well, let's start by skull feigning that. It's not the greatest of okay, this works. This is fine. We can. And we're not using this Johnny heal. And thank you for the follow. But this stops them from like getting any more rally up. And I think that's the main way we're gonna beat them is just by rally starving. Invoke another Holy Lightning Bird, and because this is still up and we still got our Jeweled Shrine, it's just getting larger. So we really need something to give Diamond Master Storm. And I'm glad you came here. I am trying. Ultimate Hollow is in your deck. Interesting. Okay, so I kind of want to try and draw for something to give Diamond Master Storm more than anything else. So let's Cursed Maiden for card draw. Ah, perfect. The only slightly awkward thing is we don't have. So I might I think it's better to. Yeah, I'm gonna. This is a bit of a waste, but I need to make the board space, and this Holy Lightning Bird isn't really that useful to us now. What is it? I'm just going to. Okay, I kind of screwed that up, but whatever. I'll just do it, yeah, this way rather than playing Skullfane out. And then, probably not the best of ideas, but whatever. Thank you, Kaden. Oh god, I don't know what my opponent is doing though. Oh wait, does that take her strike effect as well?
満ちた恐怖で勝えなさい
That does! I didn't realize Octree stole Diamond Master strike effect. It actually doesn't do much because Diamond Master is immune to it anyway.
志が磨いた剣
And I'm pretty sure we kill regardless anyway, yeah. So we Skull Feign. So I'm not claiming to be like the best ever. Yeah, let's just do this that I know kills.
強くなれてる我が身は思考永遠の輝きサファイアに祈りよオタクぶち上がれ聖なるサファイアよ勝つまぶしい
Ichino!
砕け散れお静かに祈りよヒーローは不滅
No, I don't. I'm not that amazing. I'm not a pro player. I'm just someone who's played Shadowverse for like fucking too long.
これは神ゲー
Yeah, I like making silly decks, but I also like winning a lot, so I only really get to play silly decks in like the very first days of like a new set or balance patch or whatever when everyone's trying to be experimental. Yeah, what's my, as I said, my favorite silly deck that's not quite good but could be is as I was saying earlier, is Chess Rune. Izudia, that is definitely a thing. You could
楽して勝ち
like try getting him off as an only hope and pray. Okay, we're getting sort of kind of tempted to keep all of these, but I'd rather try and dig for Skullfane, I think, rather than keeping these cards in hand. And look, there's Skullfane. Now we just need stuff to go alongside it. But we've got card draw from the Bejeweled Shrine and the Sapphire Priestess, so that's pretty good. Okay, so
輝け
we would really okay. There we go. So we've got some. We can start crystallizing, though Emerald Radiant is a bit slower, but it's still better to play it earlier than later.
勝利は目前
Like, let's see what I draw. Okay, like Sapphire Priestess is tempting because it draws us another card. But playing the Emerald Maiden sooner is better, I think. And then we just hope and pray. This is... Maybe we should have put Sapphire Priest down just to, like, contest board. Okay, that's going to help us a lot.
見定めた
Like, again, nothing we can do this turn, but next turn we start popping off. Well, yeah, I am wondering about when they're going to do the next, like, story-themed set, because, as I said, there's definitely something going on there. Ew, that's slightly annoying. Like, okay, they're going to hurt us a bit, but we've got, Gilanese to kind of... Yeah. Okay, so first off, we draw cards. Okay, so I'm gonna do it this way, trying to like maximize value.
私を求めて書き込む
進化僕もしたい
私以外は一口たっ
幸せに
ぷり
なるんだよ
良き道を
And then we Skullfane this. Not the best, but So Skullfiends are at 2, and our crystallizers are also only at 2, which is not ideal. If they make a yeah. Yeah, so the mini expansion will be, as I said, my wish list, as I might have mentioned, but I think it might have been slightly before, my wish list is the savior of Chessrune, the magical bishop that will be a card that blows up your own magical pawns, so that...
心は一つ中止の夢は駆け出した
Okay, so they're going for the aggressive turn, which hurts a lot. Yeah, that's my, like... Okay, so... Okay, this is pretty much the only way I can survive this turn, is blowing up this board with the Diamond Master. Yeah, I think a lot of people are speculating, oh, this is going to be the card that saves Chessrune. And it's the obvious option that's going to be put in, or at least has to be put in at the very least. As far as I'm assuming. I don't know, was there a bishop, magical bishop in the anime? So yeah, we have to use a Diamond Master here to clear the board. Yeah. Okay, so we haven't actually seen a Mystic Bishop at all, even in the anime that's supposed to have the cards in advance, but I guess... not a great moment so far. But as I said, we managed to get a... So we're behind on Crystallizers and we're behind on Skullfiends, which is really awkward. Another Musketeers. What are they? This is one at least more of a defensive one, though. We continue to be in a pickle, so I'm going to do a shrine for some card draw first of all. That doesn't help us at all. I think we're a bit screwed. Because Wingy doesn't give Storm. Yeah, we just haven't been able to get our... We just didn't get enough early crystallizers to have any of our stuff online. Yeah, we don't have any way of giving Diamond Master Storm. We don't have Skullfiends. What? Let's see, maybe Agent of the Gods will draw us something vaguely useful. No, it will not. Okay, this is a really, really bad turn, but it's the only turn that stops us dying. So we have to kill that to not die. And we may as well just punch that for some HP, even though it's going to recover them HP. What's their Evo counter? 3. If they have Monochrome Endgame, we are very screwed. But we might be able to squeeze it out. Because it's entirely possible we just get to hard drop a Skullfane this turn. And squeeze ourselves back out, but if they have, say... Oh no, hard dropping the Skullfane on this current board does kill, because it means the Agent of God procs, which kills the Athos even if he's at full HP, but they'll probably play a couple of other things that don't die to Skullfane. Which point we really need to find something we can somehow crystallize. Yeah, that okay. What you playing? What you got for that 7 play points? They got nothing. Interesting. Okay, so given that they played... Yeah, they timed out. I wonder what they're doing. Like... I'm just trying to think. If there is anything that keeps us alive this turn whilst also blowing up their board. Because we don't... I guess... We Diamond Master... Okay. No, because... Yeah, we Diamond Master... Then Impious... We hope this blows up. We pray for the 1 in 3. We didn't, so that didn't work quite as planned, but it's okay. Then we play Wingy and another Skullfane. We sacrifice our Diamond Master. Actually, no, we don't, because it blows them up before it swings. Okay. Okay. So that was a bit of a greedier play, but... Okay, they're getting Evo points back. They're Evoing, so they're getting their cost down, so they're clearing our board. Are they killing us? Yeah, but they're killing us. That's... I should have figured there'd be another Kagami, so I should have just played Skullfane. Ah well. Yeah, that was rough. So we had all the other pieces, but we didn't have crystallized amulet. Maybe I should have tucked in mulliganed Bejeweled Shrine. I think it's better to have like other cards ahead of time. You can play Bejeweled Shrine like later. You don't need it as early as that, really. It's Haven versus Haven. Probably Mirror, I'm guessing. Okay, so yeah, I'm not going to keep... I'll keep Emerald Maiden, but I won't keep Bejeweled Shrine or Emerald of the Gods, because I want to try and get the I would like to draw Skullfane. Like to increase my odds of drawing Skullfane. So an early Mace Jester is pretty aggressive, but we need to draw cards. Because they played that early Mace Jester, I'll probably play Agent of the Gods next. 2 early Mace Jesters. If they have Bejeweled Shrine, this is possibly going to get a bit could be Heal Haven, but I don't think Heal Haven plays Mace Jester as a card. So I'm pretty sure we'll get up against the Mirror. Or Ward Haven somehow. Yeah, this is the Mirror. If we don't draw Skullfane, we're in a bad spot. That's not Skullfane. At least I didn't have Bejeweled Shrine out. So, I would like to draw Skullfane, please. Because they've already got 2 Skullfanes on.
ああクソああクソ
At least they didn't have anything else to do, so we're getting a bit of a
おひねりどうも
where is a Skullfane? You are not Skullfane.
輝け
You are also not a. I'm just going to heal to full with this Jilanese.
私を求めて書き込む
進化僕もしたい
And hopefully draw. We got Curse Maiden for next turn, so hopefully that'll help us get towards Skullfane.
おひねりどうも
So we've neutralized their early aggression at the very least. That they've still played a bunch of Skullfane and we have not.
見定めた
Which is the problem. I keep getting his fanfare. It's his fanfare that makes the thing. So they've got their Bejeweled Shrine out. What's their crystallized count at? 4 now. Okay. So obviously we want to draw cards.
終わりなき祈り捧げる
Still no Skullfane, but we can do this trick where we get rid of their Bejeweled Shrine with Spiritual Blow.
輝け
And then play our one. And how do I want to do this? I want to draw cards, and the best thing that draws cards currently that we have is Agent of the
見
Gods.
定めた
All Skullfanes in the bottom half of our deck! Ain't that grand?
祈り
Well, that was just mean, but also they blew a,
私の見業をご覧あれ
Okay, so no Skullfanes, but we do have the Wingy combo. It's a very shame that they,
我が身は思考永遠の輝き
Okay, so how do I want to actually... So I'm going to... Yeah, I'm just going to do it this way.
見定めた
Eee, we got Skullfane. We can do... We're going to do... this way. I did this the wrong... I fucked up. I got too excited with a Skullfane and fucked up. I'm a dumbass. They're just gonna Skullfane me back now. Have I played all my, played cards? I have played all... No, my opponents play...
我が身は思考永遠の輝き
Shit, I've played,
刮目なさい
all of my Bejeweled Shrines. It's okay, it's okay. I've got another Diamond Master. This is a really awkward mirror match because neither of us have any Bejeweled Shrines left, I think. But,
貪欲私を求めて書き込む
okay, I can do...
さあご注目
I fucked up again!
ご注目
I thought I was crystallizing that. I'm gonna go to bed after this match. This is the last one. I'm too stupid.
回りますいった
The fuck is wrong with my brain? I've only accelerated one Skullfane in this game. And they have a Bejeweled Shrine left.
さあご注目さあご注目
I think
試練は進むわ
I've just completely lost the plot, I think.
夢中になるでしょはあくそやむ
Gone completely.
おひねりどうも
Fuck am I even doing right now? Kind of have to do. I kind of really. You know what? I've been too dumb. Let's just pretend this match never happened. I should have also held on to my Sanctuary Haven, but then I needed to draw cards. That was hard. Okay, let's just one more match without hopefully not being an idiot. Because I am very smart, it's in my tags. So... yeah, cool. It's the last match before I go back, because I think my brain's running low. Dragoncraft. I haven't seen that many Dragoncrafts this
ゲームも人生も
recently.
五色絢爛万家の法を
Okay, so this is a... I'm going to keep all of this. This is a very good start. So we start with an Emerald Maiden.
光よ
Then we can do this. And this.
捧げる
Ooh, yeah, we go into the races. Just need. Oh no, they stopped the damage from my Cursed Maiden. What a shame. And then we can go
緑の光よ
even more crazy.
なる神
Accelerating rapidly.
捧げる
Ooh, another Thunder God. That's really good. So our crystallizers are at 3, and they just yep. They didn't want to deal with that anymore. They're just like, yep, nope. Your turn is too raw. Can't deal. Sometimes that's just how it be. Anyway, yeah, that's it. I'm done. I'm taking that. I'm taking that dub. I'm taking that as my dub of the day. Just having them concede. But yeah, this is very... Probably should need to take out a Vadra champion for something. I don't see a lot of deck lists these days running it. Yeah, someone was just like, oh, they're going to have... They've got really fast crystallizers available. They've got really fast Skullfanes available. They're just online instantly. Can't do anything about that. I am really done. I'm going to prove it to you. But I don't, like... Boomerang Sister, like, in either way, Boomerang Sister is just not really seen as much of a playable card, though it could be quite funny. And, like, I always think that Boomerang Sister Gold Ship is a, fun card and could be quite powerful, but I've never seen anyone actually I've never seen it in any tournament deck list. So... yeah, I just think there might be better options like Spiritual Blow and the like. And Maybe Vajra champion. Oh, I can. That is a funny thing, of course, because she knocks her own attack down. Then so Wingy can buff her. Then you evolve her to get their attack back up, whilst also dealing with your opponent's. Well, I can see that. That's cute. That's a cute little combo. Like usually, I think most people would rather just do Jillanese instead of that, because then you have because then you get the healing. But yeah, I can see why it works, and it might be a fun thing that kind of like throws people off. I'll consider it, but yeah, I'm going to bed because I'm feeling it's getting late, and I'm tired, and I don't want to risk playing another game where I just end up misplaying so horribly. But thank you, and I'm going to prove it. I'm going to go back to the yeah, there's a lot of good options. Obviously, Gold Ship, especially if you have the, well, Boomerang Sister / Gold Ship, if you have her from the event, is obviously a much cheaper option than Jillanese if you don't have her. It's an important thing to consider. Yes, anyway, I'm gonna get ready to start flopping off to bed. So let's do the chat screen so I can close things without worrying, and close and open things without worrying about sound. Do-do! There, Shadowverse is closed. It can't scare you anymore. Thank you everyone for coming along to the stream. Let us see who is around to raid. Bunch of people. Thank you for coming along. Thank you for doing things. Is it? I'll have a schedule and VODs up hopefully tomorrow, unless a bunch of stuff happens tomorrow. I don't know. Stuff might be happening tomorrow. Let's raid Cup of Chai. They're playing games. Most requested cursed game. I wonder what that could be. Don't know what it is. We'll find out. We raid her. Yes. Thank you everyone for coming along. And I'll see you probably Tuesday or maybe another day. Who knows? Bye.